All things proceed from nature, even humanity, but at a certain point, mankind ceased to be a contributing part of the global ecosystem and instead became a blight upon the earth. Human beings now disrupt natural processes rather than contributing to them. A prime example of this is climate change or global warming. As the present period of warming is occurring faster than past warming events, scientists are concerned that the Earth's natural variability is being replaced by rapid man-made warming. Should this trend continue, it may have serious negative implications for all life on Earth. The consensus among climate scientists is that the main cause of climate change is the contribution humans make to the warming of the Earth's surface. This warming results from the atmosphere trapping heat as it radiates off of the Earth and back towards space. These phenomena are collectively known as the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect is intensified by the increased presence of long-lived gases that do not respond physically or chemically to temperature changes and remain semi-permanently in the atmosphere, forcing climate change. These gases are as follows: water vapor, carbon dioxide or CO2, methane, nitrous oxide, and chlorofluorocarbons or CFCs. Water vapor, the most abundant greenhouse gas, also acts as an indicator of climate, as its presence in the atmosphere increases as the atmosphere warms. Although a lesser component, carbon dioxide or CO2 is a significant component in climate change. CO2 is released through some natural processes, such as volcano eruptions, but also through human activities such as deforestation, land use changes, and the burning of fossil fuels. Since the Industrial Revolution began, concentration of CO2 in the atmosphere has increased by more than 1/3 as a result of human activity. This is the most important long-lived forcing of climate change. Methane, a hydrocarbon gas, also has both natural and human sources. Human sources of methane include decomposition of waste in landfills, agriculture, especially the cultivating of rice, and the raising of domestic livestock. Though methane is a far more active greenhouse gas, there is a much lower concentration of it in the atmosphere than there is of carbon dioxide. Nitrous oxide is produced by soil cultivation, primarily the use of commercial and organic fertilizers, the burning of fossil fuels, the production of nitric acid, and biomass burning. Chlorofluorocarbons, or CFCs, are entirely industrial in origin and used in a number of applications. Luckily, due to their ability to contribute to ozone depletion, CFCs are now heavily regulated by international agreement. Climate change can be slowed or even reversed through the use of adaptations, which are actions to prepare for and adjust to climate change, and mitigations, which include the limiting of emissions or reducing of the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Management of climate change risks or adaptation will require planning that will encompass the next several decades and require the cooperation of individuals, business entities, and society as a whole. Potentially beneficial changes would involve adjustments to business operations, resource management, capital investments, and land use policies. If enacted promptly, these actions can produce benefits economically, ecologically, and in social welfare in both the short and long term. Moreover, many strategies can provide multiple benefits, resulting in long-term cost savings. Many of the adaptations previously mentioned, such as changes in resource management and land usage, can also function as mitigations. Atmospheric CO2 can be stored in plants, trees, soil, and the ocean, with oceanic and soil carbon storage being increased through chemical and biological means, and plant carbon storage being increased by slowing and reversing deforestation. CO2 can also be captured using engineered chemical reactions and stored in geologic reservoirs or used in products such as polymers and cement. The wide implementation of these measures can be achieved through promotional policy instruments such as GHG emission fees or emission caps, the imposing of emission standards, technology requirements and building codes, and subsidies such as tax incentives and rebates. Public funding for research, development, and demonstration programs will also be vital components moving forward. Past scientific predictions regarding global climate change, such as loss of sea ice, accelerated rise in sea levels, longer and more intense heat waves, etc., are being directly observed and recorded by scientists in the present. Some scientists have also predicted that the global climate will continue to change in a similar fashion in this century and beyond. Because human-induced warming is superimposed on a naturally varying climate, the temperature rise has not been and will not be uniform across the country or over time. For the U.S., it is projected that the recent climate change trend towards heavy precipitation events, or storms, will continue even in regions where overall precipitation is expected to decrease, such as the Southwest. The Southwest will also experience more intense heat waves and less intense cold waves. Since the early 1980s, the frequency and duration of hurricanes in the North Atlantic has been shown to increase, and around the globe, sea levels have risen by roughly 8 inches since 1880. As land ice continues to melt, the sea level is projected to continue to rise by another 1 to 4 feet by 2100. As habitats change more rapidly than species can adapt, for example, the Arctic is expected to become ice-free in the summer, plant and animal extinction will increase. The World Health Organization, or WHO, has also warned that the lives of millions of humans could be affected by increases in malaria and waterborne disease resulting from shorter winters, and malnutrition resulting from the disruption of plant growth cycles. Due to human activities, the planet we occupy is changing in ways that nature cannot accommodate, and ultimately humans will suffer for it. This fact has been unanimously verified by the majority of the scientific community, and the negative predictions of past scientists are coming true. Luckily, we have the means at our disposal to prevent the grim future that has been predicted via adaptation and mitigation, but these measures can only have effect if we actively work to implement them. Human beings are unique among all species in our ability to affect our environment. None of the others have as great an impact as us. It is for us to decide if we will use our unique abilities for good or ill.